Good morning from Kilo Charlie 2, Oscar Mike Uniform.
Kilo Charlie 2, Oscar Mike Uniform. Is that a Roger?
That is a Roger. You have that correct, sir. And the name here is Darrin. Delta Alpha, Romeo, India Nancy. Darrin. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Where might you be, sir?
I am in central New Jersey. And I'm enjoying your Qso here for a little bit. So, tinning things up to say good morning.
Roger, glad for you to check in, sir. The conditions just seem to be just recently kind of backing up just a little bit. I'm looking at your signal on the output of a VU meter as opposed to an S meter, and I'm reading the output of my receiver, and you look to be maybe about 6 dB above my noise level, but conditions are in a state of flux at the moment, Roger.
Okay, very good. Yeah, you're on my S meter. You're between a 9 and a 10/9, and you're coming in very good here to central New Jersey. I heard you talking about your SB220 amplifier, and I have one. I'm not on it right now. That's my. I have two amplifiers. I have the SB220, and I have an Ameritron AL82 amplifier. So I like the 3500Z tubes. I just completely redid my SB220. It had good tubes in it, but I rebuilt it completely and has brand new RF parts, tubes in it, has every Harbox mod in it, new cap bang, new, parasitic mods, soft start, new fan, I knew everything. And then I had the chassis stripped and powder coated black. Kind of like a medium flat black and a flat face panel, all new knobs on it, and it looks like a brand spanking new amplifier inside and out. Beautiful amplifier.
Roger. Now, did you preserve the original paint colors on the exterior?
The face panel, I did. I have the original face panel. I purchased a black face panel that some guy was selling that he made and silk screened, but the case itself, no, that was stripped down to bare metal and powder coated. It's not a big deal. You can get East Kid Green paint and repaint it if you wanted to, but my objective, if you look at my QRZ page, you'll see it on the right side. Everything is black in the shack, and the green stood out like a sore thumb, so I wanted to make everything look beautiful in my shack. So, it's a beautiful amplifier.
Roger. Now, what do you typically run power-wise on 40? How much out?
Okay, I'm not on 40 a whole lot. I'm usually on 80 meters. Once in a while on 20. And occasionally on 40. Right now, I'm doing about 1,200 watts on the AL82. If I was on the SB220, I'd probably run about 900 watts here.
Roger. Yeah, that's I run about 950 on 40. Today, and it depends. I'm running it on the 115 volt side. That worked for me when I first set it up, so I just left it that way. I figure if there's a little power back down, then that's going to just be easier on the tubes. But I run about 950 on 40, 900 on 20, 800 on 15, and 700 on 10 meters. Roger.
Okay, yeah, very good. I heard you also mention that you run an inverted V dipole. That's what I'm running. But my inverted V dipole is an inverted V sand dipole, and it's not a conventional one. I have 4 antennas on it, and 80 meters goes east and the legs. 40 meters goes not quite north and no, I forget the directions now. But 40 meters runs another direction, the legs. 20 meters another direction, and 10 meters is vertical. I have a vertical whip on top of my mast for 10 meters, and then a leg that comes down slightly off the mast for 10 meters. So I have 10, 20, 40, and 80, and they all go different directions and tie into a one-to-one balance and go into my radio. I have a Pulsar AT2K tuner, and I have my radio is an FTDX 5000 I'm running here.
Roger, Darren. I'd never thought about a fan dipole run in different directions. Usually, the fan dipole is run under each other, configured under each other. But yeah, you could definitely spread that out in many different directions. But would it still? I guess since it's got a common transmission line, it still would be a fan dipole, Roger.
Yeah, right. Someone's doing some kind of digital mode on top of us here, but yeah, it's still considered a fan dipole because it has a common feed point, and I think I run all 12 gauge wire for each band, and I think the antennas interfere with each other less when they're separated. So when I, tuned it with the antenna analyzer, you go around checking each band, I think it interferes less, with each band, as you're tuning it. And then you can, because 80 meters I like to run east and west, the legs, because I want my signal to be best north and south. 20 meters, I want to get like DX across the country or overseas, so I run that like north and south, so my signal goes east and west. And, so that's the way I set it up, and then 40 meters is somewhere in between. So, I set it up to work, so my signal is strongest where I want each band to go.
Roger, well, you're absolutely correct there. That was the thing that I, thought about the dipole, from the standpoint of interaction between the different, antennas, one over the other, and there definitely is an interaction. So, by spacing them out from each other, you have a whole lot less interaction. So that's a really good idea. I have to think about that. You could save a bunch of bucks by just using the one transmission line without having to run other transmission lines to the other antennas.
Yeah, I've been running this setup now for like 12 years probably. I've replaced the wires, once or twice, and I replaced the bowline and the coax, but I put it up exactly like it was. So, I've been running this antenna configuration for about 12 years now, and I absolutely love it. I get, great signal reports on every band. The 10 meter, not so much. I'm going to put up a different antenna for 10 meters. I'm not happy with the 10 meter performance, but 20 meter, 40, and 80 work phenomenal.
Roger, Darren. Let me give you a thought maybe for 10 meters. When I first started as a technician, I had, restrictions that, but I could transmit on 10 meters. So I developed 3 antennas for 10 meters. A quarter wave, about 40 feet up a tower, and then a 5/8, fairly low, about 20 feet off the ground. And then my best antenna turned out to be a full wave 36-foot loop antenna. And this was not a round loop, it was a PVC frame, which was 10 foot on the horizontal and 8 foot on the vertical. And I used RG6, strung around the frame as the element. And it was mounted vertically, and it was only let's see, I put a rotor on it so I could rotate the loop, and the rotor was about 10 feet off the ground, and then you had another 8 foot for the top of it, so it was around 20 feet, at the highest point, but very, very quiet. The loop antenna is extremely quiet, and by the ability to rotate it, I could put it into the field and max the received signal, and the nulls off the ends were just unbelievable. You could take a 50 dB signal and just null that thing right out. I mean, just absolutely null it out, Roger.
Okay, very good. So that's very interesting with the loop antenna. Okay. Well, my plan was actually I have an antenna. I had it sitting down here in my basement. It's brand new. I've had it for about 2 years. It's an IMAX 2000 vertical antenna. It's a pretty big antenna. What is it? 17 feet long vertical. But I've heard other guys use them, especially when 10 meters is open, or local rad shoes, if you're both running verticals, more local 10-meter stuff, or even repeater stuff. It's a pretty versatile antenna, the IMAX 2000. So I have a brand new one sitting here, but I don't do 10 meters that often, so I will put it up one day. For 6 meters, I have a PAR omni-angle antenna up on the mast, and with 6 meters open, you can use anything. And I've talked to Hawaii, Alaska, everything on that PAR omni-angle on 6 meters when it's been open. So that works pretty well. But pretty happy with my antenna setup, except for my 10 meters. And I have one, so we'll get that set up soon. 2 meter 440. I have a Diamond 510 antenna, and I have a Qso-736R, and that has 220 in it as well. And I'm pretty happy with my station. As far as my audio goes, I'm using an RE27 into a W2IHY 8-band EQ and an EQ Plus. And then I also use the EQ in my TDX 5000 radio. So that's what I'm using for my audio over here.
Roger, Darren, really good EQ there. You have a very strong bottom end. One aspect of that is, though, that sometimes when you do not have best band conditions, you possibly, your signal, whatever you're putting out, is not necessarily getting to the receive area as best as possible, and some of your signal is becoming blow-by. That goes on up to the next reflector, up in the atmosphere, and that may be bending back down, And what happens is you have phase angle distortions, which is actually phase angle out of phase, that out of phase canceling starts at the high frequencies and works down. So if where you are transmitting a very balanced audio signal with a lot of bottom end and a good top end, sometimes at the distant location, if you have any reflection of those your signal back down, it's coming at maybe out of phase, and it'll start at the top, and you may lose part of that top end to keep the balance with the bottom end, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. When you run, I actually, I'll tell you what I did, but when the wider you make the more bass and the wider you make your signal, the more it's going to dissipate the farther it gets away because it's wider. So I was running 4K wide. I'm down to 2.9 now, and usually running a narrower band filter will help it as well. So running at 2.9, does that help cut through a little bit better?
Yeah, it does. I wonder why that would be, because you're actually limiting your top end. Your bottom end is not being restrictive at any bandwidth. Is that not correct?
Yes. And, but wait, see, like I said, I'm usually up on 80 meters, and all the guys I talk to, it's like, you have to sound like Howard Stern, or like, what are you doing on our frequency? It's kind of a joke, but we have fun doing it, and I enjoy it. So we play with our audio, and, we all try to outdo each other with our audio. And it's just part of, don't have to do it, but kind of like part of the fun we have playing up on 80 meters. But so I usually when if I go to 20 meters, I'll narrow it up, really narrow, on 20 meters. But I don't like to start playing with the EQs, because once you get them set, I don't like to play with them that much. But so I usually will change my bandpass filter, narrow it up on on a noisier band. KC2OMU.
Roger, Darrin. That is interesting. Particularly like in bad band days. It just you can hear it. Like if you're really listening and you have a very good receiver or speaker, even they have this $5,000 speaker and a it's $5,000 radio with a $2 speaker. A whopping 3-inch speaker inside this radio, and you're going to discern some kind of critical audio listening. It's crazy. You got to get out of the box. You got to get out of the radio box and get some kind of monitoring system that you can actually hear something. And once you do that, then you can start hearing those nuances of the signal being degradation down from the top. It's just like somebody turning a tone control down, but you can't hear that with a $3 speaker, Roger.
Oh, you can't say that enough. No, I run my speakers. I don't know if you've ever heard of KRK rocket speakers, and I have a Cybersonic equalizer system. It's like a box that I can control my tone controls on into the speakers. They're powered speakers, very high powered speakers. As a matter of fact, I have a switch on my speakers where I use them on my computer as well, or I play my music, I have it hooked up to a Bluetooth as well where I can switch it to that. And these speakers will rock out. Okay? But that's the speakers I use for my radio. They're two KRK Rocket 5 speakers. So with the Cybersonic tone control system. So they're when I'm listening to someone that has good audio, it sounds like a regular FM radio station.
Roger. Well, audio's the thing, and that's all we have to do. Our audio being transmitted to somebody else, and their audio coming back to us, and so we have to, and then it is what your station is, what you want it to be. So and that's the beautiful thing about this hobby. You can just do so many things and experiment, and that's the beauty of it, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what keeps me interested in the hobby. I just started playing with some digital stuff with the Yaesu wires, and I got a DMR radio with a hotspot, and I got those things all set up and played with those for a little while. But you know what? I got very bored with them very fast. Although you can talk to people around the world, people are very nice and friendly, and on those bands, but there's something about talking over internet. It just didn't do it for me. I like to be talking RF, and it just, to me, it's just not. It loses its excitement when you go through an interconnect connection to communicate. So I got this my Yaesu 5000 just over a year ago now, and I am loving it. It's a beautiful radio. The filtering on it is amazing. I can quiet down the noisiest conditions on it. Yaesu, and I still have that hooked up on a switch. I can switch to that if I want, but that's my, I guess, let's call it my backup radio, but I still have that in line here. But my 5000 is, you know, it's so funny because all the guys now are into these new SDR radios, the Flex radios, and the, what's that other Indian radio? Can't think of the name of it, but, you know, they're all into these SDR radios. Now, they sound great on the air. I can't say anything bad about them. They sound spectacular, and you can fine-tune those things, and they sound unbelievable. But me personally, I'm just not into a computer, you know, operated radio. I like to look at my displays. I like to have all my knobs in front of me, and my 5000 is a pretty big radio, and it has lots of knobs and buttons on it, and that's what I need. I don't, and the Flex radios are great. I won't say nothing bad about them. It's just a personal thing. I don't want a box for a radio that I have to use my computer for, and that's just a personal, you know, preference. But they do sound good.
Roger, Darren. Well, listen, I've really enjoyed it, sir. I'm glad you dropped by, and we have obviously been recording, and we will be loading this up on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And this session will be ID'd as my group aircheck. Date 10/12/18, frequency 7189. So that's the way we ID it, because we usually talk to so many folks. We couldn't put all their call signs in the title, so we just mainly titled it by the date and the frequency. Roger.
Okay, very good. I'll be sure to check that out and enjoy the ride too. I'm not the kind of person that likes to get on the radio and say, "Hey, how are you? Signal's great, 5-9. Thank you for the contact." I'm not really into that. I enjoy talking to a person, and you know, like we're having a regular conversation. So I did enjoy the Qso. Thank you for spending the time with me, and you have a great day. Hope all goes well for you. Day 73, this is KC2OMU, and I'll listen out.
Roger, Darren. 3's up that way. You have a good day, sir. Enjoyed it.